Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to the lecturer and my friends. So we from group 2 will be presenting about Pre-Cambrian period for this assignment 2. In this presentation we'll be discuss about the background info of Pre-Cambrian period and discuss about their age, their environment and landscape, and what happened to the earth during that time. So in this presentation basically we'll present about how the earth looked like in 4.5 billion years ago, and is there any life form that even exists at that time? If they exist, how can they exist? So without further ado, let's go to the next slide. Here are a very handsome group of gentlemen, which is our group member, starting from Muhammad Khalif Nur Ahmad. Next is me, Ahmad Farid Murshid, and the last one is Roshan Mahendran. We will be presenting separately according to the chapters which is dedicated to us. So let's get into the first chapter of our presentation. This is the background information of the Precambrian period. The first piece of information that we should know is Precambrian period is also known as Super Eon. Why does it is called a Super Eon? Because in this period it consists 3 Eon, which is Hedian, Archean, and Proterozoic Eon. It is special comparing to other period in geological time chart. Next, the age of Precambrian period is a very long, which is 4.5 billion to 541 million years old. Although these numbers are not very accurate because there are a lot of factors in order to have the accurate and exact number of year. Alright, to the next point. In this period also, this is where the first form of life come to existence. This is the time period before human, before dinosaurs come to exist, which is found in the fossil by our fellow geologists. Next, Precambrian also have a limited biostratigraphic use. What do I mean by limited? Geologists nowadays are very hard to find rocks that age 4.5 billion years ago because first, the rocks are heavily metamorphosed due to erosion for about 4 billion years of erosion destroy the old rock completely. Second is the rock is buried very deep inside the earth layer, which we must use a considerable amount of time and appropriate tools in order to find them. Okay, that's it about the background information of Precambrian period. So let's head into the first eon in Precambrian period, which is the Hedian Eon, which mean in Greek is beneath the earth. The age is very old, which is 4.5 to 4 billion years ago. It also called Hedian because due to its hellish condition, as you can see on the bottom of the slide, there is the visualization of what the earth looked like on Hedian Eons. As you can see, there is an ocean of lava, volcanoes everywhere, volcanoes exploding here, exploding there. These conditions are so harsh and outrageous that make it impossible to any kind of life to exist at this time. That's it about the information about Hedian Eon. So, some of you are asking, is there any proof that the Earth is really 4.5 billion years old? Let's see on the next slide. This is a fragment of rock that is found by our fellow geologists and researchers, which is located on the Slave Craton in northwest of Canada. This age has been carbon dated about 4.031 billion years ago, although the age is arguable by other researchers, because researchers for other country are conducting this experiment also, and they find a different result of carbon dating. So this rock is known as the Akasta gneiss because the rock is from Akasta in Canada. Okay, that's all from me. Now we will continue the presentation to our next member of the group, which is Muhammad Khalif. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmad Farid. And now my name is Muhammad Khalif, and
now we'll talk about the Archean Eon. It is the second of the four geologic eons of the Earth's history, occurring from 4 to 2.5 billion years ago. The Earth's heat flow was 3 times as it is today because of the planetary accretion, formation of the metallic core, and decay of the radioactive elements. The eras in Archean are Eoarchean, Paleoarchean, Mesoarchean, and Neoarchean. This is an image how to memorize it easily. Eo, Paleo, Meso, Neo, Archean. The environment. Most of the rocks are igneous and metamorphic in origin. A large supercontinent called Valbara formed during the Archean. This is an image of Valbara. The atmosphere almost entirely lacked free oxygen, and it was mostly full of methane and carbon dioxide. The presence of liquid water is evidenced by the certain highly deformed gneiss. This is an artistic impression of the world during the Archean, a world without oxygen. Life in the Archean was limited to simple single-cell organisms called prokaryote. This is a picture of prokaryote. In addition to the domain bacteria, microfossils have also been identified. Earliest evidence of life on Earth are graphite in biogenic origin found in the 3.7 billion year old meta-sedimentary rocks in western Greenland. Some identifiable fossils consist of stromatolites. This is a stromatolites here, which are microbial mat formed in shallow water by cyanobacteria by here, and are found in the 3.48 billion year old sandstone. Further evidence is found in the 3.47 billion year old barite. This is barite by here. This mineral shows sulfur fractionation as much as 21.1%, which is proof of sulfate reducing bacteria activity. The major events. The Archean Eon marked a time when Earth's climate began to stabilize. Earth began cooling down in the Archean. Once it was cool enough, water could finally condense to form its first ocean. This is an image of the early ocean during the Archean. This cool climate allowed the formation of continents once the lithosphere becomes more stable. This is the image of first tectonic activity. Soon, oxygen filled the atmosphere, and then most of the world's iron ore was deposited. This is a picture of the oxygen released by the cyanobacteria. Because the Earth's condition stabilized, eukaryotic and multicellular life could finally emerge in the Proterozoic Eon. This is a graph of the summary of the major events during the Archean. The first ocean was formed, and the early creation of DNA, and tectonic activity which leads to the first continent form, existence of prokaryote bacteria, and banded iron formation which leads to the creation of the iron ore, and then the great oxygenation event which happened during the Proterozoic Eon.
And that is all for me. Now I shall pass the presentation to Mr. Roshan.
Okay, a very good morning to Professor Alsa Denisa and my classmates. I'm Roshan. I'll be taking over from Proterozoic Eon. Okay, I'll be telling you all about the Proterozoic Eon. So Proterozoic Eon actually started 2,500 million years ago until 541 million years ago. Okay, so now we'll discuss about the major Proterozoic events that actually happened. Okay, so the Proterozoic event, one of the most major one was the tectonic plates. Okay, there were active tectonic plates during the Proterozoic Eon. So what actually happened was supercontinents were formed. Okay, so one of the supercontinents is Rodinia, which looked like this, and the other one was Pannosia, okay, which actually looked like this. Okay, so we'll move to another one. Another event was actually the big and the most major event, which is actually the or how oxygen was provided to the atmosphere. Okay, so we will start from what actually gave out the oxygen. Okay, so the oxygen was actually distributed by something called cyanobacteria. Okay, so these cyanobacteria were actually inside stromatolites. Okay, so when supercontinents were formed, there were stromatolites around them. Okay, inside the stromatolites there were this thing called cyanobacteria. Okay, that time at the atmosphere there's only nitrogen and hydrogen only. Okay, so these cyanobacteria, they played a very big and major role in providing oxygen to the atmosphere. Okay, this is the major event. And another one more event that happened during this eon is eukaryotes. These are the first multicellular organism formed during this eon. Okay, these were the first multicellular formed. They were actually formed by cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria was just a simple cell. They were actually they involved, and they had nucleus and membranes. Okay, so we go to the next slide. Okay, and then the last event which I'm going to tell, which happened during the Proterozoic Eon, was snowball Earth. Okay, which actually I'll explain to you now. Before Proterozoic era, the Earth surface was very hot. Okay, so it was very hot, and what happened was, after the Hedian Eon and the following eon, the Proterozoic Eon came. The Earth started to cool down, and as it cools, ice sheets were formed from north to the hemisphere and from the south to the hemisphere. So ice sheets were formed, and almost the whole Earth was almost covered by snow. So that is what they call the snowball Earth event. Okay, so almost the ice sheet spread out till the hemisphere of the Earth. Now, so we have just finished our presentation. So this is our summary. Okay, we today discussed about the Pre-Cambrian era, and then Hedian Eon, Hedian Eon, and the Proterozoic Eon. Okay, so the Proterozoic, Archean, and Hedian Eon, the chart is here. Okay, so I hope you all understand this. Thank you.